All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 3 of Gridiron Queensland action here, brought to you on live streaming Brisbane. We are again coming out the home of the Bayside Ravens here at Leo Williams Oval in Carina, where we've got a top of the table clash. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Bayside Ravens hosting the Brisbane Rhinos. Both teams having a 2-0 record. One of these teams, barring a tie, will be carrying their first L back to the sheds this evening. With me as always, or at least at the start of the season, Adam Bolton. Mate, 1 versus 2, the reigning premiers versus the runners-up from a couple seasons ago. What do you make of this matchup?
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Great to be here. Very excited for this week. We've got the defending champions who are very, very thin on numbers this week, but very experienced, versus a very, very exciting young Rhinos team. And I stress young. I was chatting to centre Ryan Glasson before the game. He's the second oldest player on the team at the entire age of 27.
Ooh, geez, that gives you a clear example of the youth this team's going on, including their head coach, Sam Harkness, who isn't exactly old in the tooth, or long in the tooth either, but plenty of experience with what he's captured over the last 5 years in his young coaching journey. On screen, you can see one of the captains there, Jack Capewell, rallying his troops earlier. We did touch on a couple of unavailabilities there for the defending champs in the Bayside Ravens. 2 of those key names, Ben Stokes, who's away on a family holiday, and starting linebacker and defensive coordinator Pete Brewer, who got ejected in the first half of last week's game.
Yeah, 2 massive, massive outs for the Ravens. Both players very, very experienced. Obviously, Brewer coming from overseas and having played over there and being their defensive play caller. And then obviously Ben Stokes, who some may be familiar with, but has played for Australia, Queensland, and again, a very, very experienced player on that defence to be missing.
And another underrated missing player for them is Damien Broderick, who might not be the most household name, did start for the Ravens in seasons past, but he is actually one of the smarter players on that defense, is one of the play callers. This was a bad game for him to be unavailable. They could have really relied on him too. So right now, it's actually forced Vice President Gerard Fitzpatrick to move to the sideline role to help in the defensive coordinating. Now, remind you, Pete Brewer, as per ejection rules, means you have a 1-game disqualification afterwards. Ejection means you cannot be on the sideline there. So let's just face it, most teams in the past, and I'm assuming including tonight, have been pretty creative of how they can get around that ruling.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've got Pete up in the booth with us tonight, so he's following the rules and making sure he's staying away from the sideline. But yeah, that's a massive, massive name to be missing. Also pre-game, having a chat with Coach Leon for the Ravens, and outlined that they are very, very thin on the defensive line today. So although you've got Thompson and the likes there who are very, very experienced, they've literally got 4 recognised D linemen tonight, and other than that, it's going to be offensive linesmen rotating in.
Exactly right. Very, very thin. It'll be interesting to see if the Rhinos, which have proven to be a high-performing offense with their 10-person things, how much they will rely on the running game with starting running back JJ Camargo from Brazil. That will be something to keep an eye out, particularly in the early parts of this game. We did touch on some of those young players there. Did you touch on the young Matt Williams we were impressed a week ago?
Yeah, so number 85, Matt Williams, we watched the first half of the game last week against the Bears. And yeah, we're operating as a slot receiver position. Looking to Coach Harkness before the game, referring to his nickname of Hands of God. Anything in traffic. I was going across the middle. He was very dangerous on that post slant pattern.
Really worked the minutes very impressively. And the run-and offense that Sam Harkness has been dying to install since his internship at the University of Hawaii. I do believe some of his old coaches he did work under. Other live, maybe not live, there's the time difference over there, but tuning in at some point over the next few hours. So he's finally getting that opportunity. Obviously, the last 2 seasons been installing and working with Coach Booker's offense. Now, in his first year as head coach, it's a true opportunity for him to sort of shape this offense in the way he desires. So that will be a big test from their pretty vaunted field. Sans Stokes on the other side of the field.
Yeah, really excited to see what Coach Harkness will bring out this week. He did mention to me pre-game that new package, opening up the playbook. He's a guy who I've got a lot of time for as a young coach. He's come ranks as a coach, wasn't a player. Joined the Rhinos to be a coach, and I think he's a guy who, he's a name we're going to hear in the future in college and in professional ranks in the years to come. And that's how highly I think of him.
What I like about Marcus, and I've learned that since I've met the young man, he's never been afraid to ask for help. He's never been afraid to search for as many opinions as he can to grow his coaching roots there, and that's certainly lent himself to some of the contacts he's already had as a young in the head coaching role here in Australia. As I said, depending how this COVID thing goes, wouldn't be surprised if he gets an opportunity overseas in his career.
100% agree with it. Very, very smart football IQ, as you said. Great to ask for help for a back. And he's just a sponge. He's the most talented young football brains I've come across in Australia in any of my capacities as a coach or player. Indeed.
We're not far away from kick-off. Both captains on their respective sidelines. You can see the captain this week, Clark and Brewer. That's of course. Thought number 4 would be QB1 in this offense. It is Jared Stegman wearing Brewer's number 4 this week. I think he returned to a single-digit number as a quarterback, as we see young Ben Goff, just fresh from his victory in the 4. Give us a quick hooroo there for the morning score of the first game. I think it finished 20-0. I think they've cleared off the skill. It was a
32-0 or something.
It was a strong victory there to the Spartans Raptors combined team there. So right into the evening this evening as the Mustangs continue to develop their inning in this league in their first year. But,
see the Raptors, Spartan, whatever you want to call it, today. And I was also, as you mentioned, that guy Ben Goff. Good to see him on the field. Player. He's done a lot in the past in terms of at Queensland level and for the Sunshine Coast. To see him back on the field today.
So we've got Tim Shaw, who's apparently come in and he's going to join us here. We'll try to coach him on the regarding how this is going to work. Put up there's the officials are ready to call both teams into the lineup as well. The clock is on here, but it's not been set up. It's not going to light. Wish you could. So what we'll do instead, from
12 minutes.
Listeners, as we do multiple jobs.
Okay, now what starts and stops the clock? The space bar?
The
backspace.
All right, viewers, thanks. We're back now live on audio as I give Tim Redshaw, our official, just observing the booth this evening on the studio software. And haven't missed anything though. Coin toss just happened, and it looks like the Rhinos have won the toss and opted to receive. Is that correct?
Looks like they have. Surprised me. I would have thought the Rhinos would want to come out aggressive early and try and set some tempo here.
So they would. Just wanted to double check there wasn't a defer there. I think the Rhinos did win the toss and to aggressively win. Now they're officially live. I can say there's been a lot of confidence from young head coach Sam, who is not intimidated by this Ravens team. Respects the fact they're reigning champions, I should say, but truly believes, expects, I should say, out of his team to come out with a W this evening.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's one of the situations where particularly it's a good yardstick, given we've seen the first 2 weeks of the season how the Ravens have gone with some very different wins. He's a smart coach, so he's had plenty of time to perform. He knows the strength and weakness of his own squad. And yeah, he's feeling pretty good about today and where that might head for them for the rest of the season.
Ravens are going to kick off, and on your screen, left to right, will be the visiting Rhinos, drawn in white, black, and red. and pewter, I should say, as far as their official helmet color. Back deep to return, of course, Cheyenne, James, and Calder Shanks, who we'll get into very shortly. Fields 1 yard deep in from his own end zone, and we'll try to find space down here on the right-hand sideline. The Ravens recruits do eventually get him down inside of the 20. The Rhinos will set up shop for the first time this evening here at their own 17-yard line.
Yeah, so return there by Shanks. He's a very, very dangerous player with the ball in hand. Both him and James are. So yeah, look, good return there. He just ran into his own guy. If he maintained that a little bit longer, there was a scene that could have been a massive return.
Now, for the first time, young Mitch Bradford, and I'm pretty sure play is going to have the opening title of Young tonight from this Rhinos offense. Mitch Bradford, who was a former junior quarterback, shared with Riley Dix on alternating years, the starting quarterback this year, and his offense will start with a play blown dead.
So just like delay a game there. Kenny, not an ideal start for the game. Now makes us first and 15. But very, very quick to get out of the huddle there. So it looks like they're pretty happy with what they're running. So we are lined up 3 by 1. Right on the side of the field. Oh, no pocket there. Throws deep. Oh, reception by Chris Clark. He's a guy that you do not test early. Very, very dangerous player, Clark. We've mentioned on the last 2. So Ravens out here. Back pass there. Great deep ball. Through the hands of Posey. Very to a completion and first score of the game. Great read there by Stegman. Good protection there by the offense. And give him every opportunity there. Very aggressive play call early, and the Ravens making their intentions known against testing out this young Rhino squad that we've already mentioned.
All right, forgive us as we're working out a few technical difficulties. We are being told that the audio is coming through choppy, so we're slowly trying to fix that on the run as we go here, listeners. So we are aware of the issues as the Ravens take over here on second down. Darius Holiday-Miller working the right-hand side, finding plenty of space, and he will go out of bounds on the Rhinos sideline around the Rhinos 30.
Yeah, start by Darius Holiday-Miller.
Open side of the field here. Side. Stegman at quarterback and sends Darius Holiday-Miller out to the flat. Looks at him for a second before coming back for Posey on the screen, who cuts up some plays with beautiful jukes before he is hit, I believe, for Molly, chasing him down from behind.
Yeah, great play there. Very good pass protection still there from the Ravens line. They design screenplay, so they give the look of a play. They sort of get some hands on the defensive lineman for a second, then make sure they've missed their block to get through, have a design play, and then they get the ball out to the receiver where there was plenty of offensive linemen downfield helping with the block. All right, so we've now got first down here. Ravens lined up again with to the left to the open side of the
and Braden Quinn will collect this. Oh, but fumbles it before he breaks the plane, and the Rhinos will survive the first Raven attack. We're not seeing any touchdown symbols across the field. Quinn lost the ball before he broke the plane, calling this a recovery from the Rhinos. Now, I'm just double checking. To the back end of that play, did the Rhinos get that past the in goal there? Or do they down it inside? Because if this is a fumble from the field play, should this not be a safety?
That's a good question. No, I believe the ball was fumbled in the field of play. It's gone into the end zone. It was recovered in the end zone, so I think that is a touchback, and we'll start at the 20. Looking at every official, and 3 of them were in good position. None of them looked like signalling a touchdown or having any discussion around it. It must have been pretty clear on the field that that was a fumble.
Bradford now waiting for this play to get signaled in. In the backfield, we'll have Camargo, the Brazilian. And now all right, ladies and gentlemen, we think we might have handled most of our technical issues. Had to go back to a previous setup, but it looks like we are back and you can hear us, and we will continue to stay on top of things here. What you saw on their screen was Jason Leon returning a fumble.
No, intercepted. Shovel pass.
Shovel pass. Don't get me wrong, we were actually... That's ridiculous, but it looks like it might be coming back, unfortunately.
Not sure what the penalty there's for. It may be excessive celebration or an early celebration by the Ravens sideliners. A couple of overzealous players did break out of the players' box. It seemed to be where the penalty came from, but we'll wait to see what the official call is on the field. So it looks like it's... Let's just bear with us. Okay, so call there is sideline interference, so it was from the players breaking the box. The result of the play does stand, so the touchdown, the interception by Jason Leon certainly stands, and it looks like that penalty will now be assessed on the kickoff. So Ravens now coming out to attempt the extra point. So current score, I believe, is 9-0. With Jason Leon, the 3 defensive tackle, long time Raven, Sun Devil, Australian outback player, and now head coach of the Ravens, intercepting that shovel pass. We don't see those very often, and taking that one in for a house call. Okay, Russell with the extra point. Regulation for him. He's had plenty of practice in the last couple of weeks, and that will now make the score 10-0. So solid start here for the Ravens. And
my heart is broken that I did not get to call Jason Leon's, I believe, first career touchdown. Especially, here's the joke. I usually catch up with the head coaches leading up into the week or someone in the club. And I joked about him getting an intercept. And he goes, these that do not have a catch. And lo and behold, it's manifested into what I imagine has got to be his first career intercept. So big news there for the long Ravens servant, getting his first touchdown of his career. I know he's lined up at fullback and tight end a couple times, but I'm not sure if we've actually got it done. You can see him on screen there, probably trying to withhold his excitement. And quite frankly, I think he's in more disbelief than anything. Once again, I would like to apologize for just the errors we had there in the live stream a little bit earlier. It looks like we're back up and running. The Ravens here, midway through the first quarter, leading the 10-0 over the Rhinos. Had a red zone turnover, came back, kicked a field goal. Now Jason Leon with an intercept return touchdown. Back deep to return here for the Rhinos. James Calder Shanks. James will get an opportunity to bring this back now. Tries to stiff arm Jack Capewell before the rest of the Ravens corral on him, but it's a good return, getting his offense to the 36-yard line.
Look, solid return there, and I think this is just going to show some of the, I guess, the inexperience that we have on this Rhino. This year. It was a short kickoff, so that's a good, some really, really solid field position. As we've said, James is a very, very dangerous return man, but unfortunately, in that situation, he sort of got up to the point of attack and had a whole lot of blockers waiting for something to do, which is always going to put the brakes on a good return.
Indeed it will. First down and 10. Bradford and Colmago in the backfield. Two receivers split either side for this offense. Near side receiver there will block, and Bradford, there's a bit of miscommunication about what's going to happen. Bradford's going to take off. He'll get it past the line of scrimmage, and we'll have a second down and maybe 9.5 here for the Rhinos.
Something I really like about the way Bradford plays is his ability to stay calm in situations like that where things haven't quite gone to plan. And then manages to find yards with his feet. He's been doing that for a while in the Colts competition, and it's good to see him now stepping up to the men's comp and doing the same thing.
I got a few more yards than I was prepared to give him credit for there. Second down and a long 6 here for the Rhinos. Bradford looking left and throwing in the direction of Shanks. Shanks has got his first grab of the night, and it's good enough for a first down and close to 12 yards.
A good play there, very solid pass protection, so it gave quarterbacks plenty of time there. And then, Shanks, we've seen for a few years now at both the Colts and at the men's level, making plays. He's a receiver, and there he gets some preparation to
First down and 10. Bradford with trips right now. He's got Toshak Williams. And number 13 in Lachlan Taylor here down the right-hand side, but he wants the isolated receiver, and we'll have trouble finding him with the pressure of the reducing, and dances past defenders to make something out of nothing there on that first down play.
Yeah, and Bradford just making, as you said, Kenny, making something out of nothing. That looked like he was going for all money, and then manages to pulls the ball up. It looks like he's going to pass just to get some hesitation of that defensive lineman, and then takes off with it and gets another probably 5 yards.
Second down or maybe just less than that. Second down and 6 here for the visiting Brisbane Rhinos. Hailing from West Mitchelton, trips right once again. Camargo will move from behind to the right of Bradford. And he'll get a carry now, journeying down the left-hand side, but can't find any space getting into the backfield there. Jordan Warburton, who is starting at their nickel position here this evening for the Ravens.
Yeah, speaking to Coach Brewer before the game about him, and he said that he's been working very hard this week and members. Okay, so we've got Rhinos here, third and about 15. Got trips to the left. Bradford in the gun. Ravens bringing some heat. Bradford with the ball deep. And almost intercepted.
Almost intercepted there by Jack Popel, who's been very involved as a new player on this Ravens defense so far early in this season. Was reminded earlier this week that he was the second string quarterback for the All-Stars unit that was compiled in a couple of GNATs ago, I believe, there for the All-Star unit. Just trying to remember which was North Queenslander or if it was a Tasmanian.
I believe he was a North Queenslander by memory. I'm sure Chris Jackson, who was one of the coaching staff there, is watching from Tasmania, will soon correct me if I'm wrong there. And it looks like we've got a timeout here. I think it's timeout to the Rhinos.
It was indeed on fourth down. I think they're going to have a conversation about whether they're going to go for it here.
Tough one in this field position. You're definitely too far out for a field goal. I suppose it comes down to, and you had the blocked punt earlier. So, they've got a young and developing offensive line. So, asking him to hold that extra time to block adequately for a punt may not be on the cards. So maybe you do go for it.
4th down now, and I'm checking for that number 9. There he is. Mitch Bradford out there to try and convert this 4th and long. They're looking at 15 yards here to get a fresh set of downs. The defense comes back out for the Ravens. Chris Clark lurking back deep for them. Another trip set here to the right-hand side. Max Williams in between those two wide receivers. Bradford's
time to get in. So big 4th down. Got 1st and 10 on about the 43.
Just got an update. 2 minutes remaining in quarter number 1, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes remaining in quarter number 1. The home side, Bayside Ravens, 10-0 lead over the Brisbane Rhinos. Here's another carry to Darius Holiday-Miller. Has been fruitful so far, climbing the ladder to the out-hand side. Outside the numbers he goes, and he gets shoved out of bounds, but not for War, picking up 12 yards and a 1st down. And a late flag there. Darius Holiday-Miller and CJ Chiam James drawing off at each other.
Yeah, interesting to see what the call will be here. Pre-penalty, though. Great play in terms of on. Gave delayed plenty of time and good is off the line. Get down. But now, a bit of extracurricular sideline here, so it'll be interesting to see how this one is looked at.
Well, CJ looked like he was drawn from the ground, but then Darius Holiday-Miller supposedly stood over the top of him there, which is under the taunting rules.
Yeah, there may have been, when Darius tried to get up, I don't know whether Cheyenne was still holding on to the foot or whether or not he may have stepped on him. I don't know. You can't quite see with the referee crossing over there, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the call is here.
Now Jason Leon is going to the sideline, requesting a chat with Brian Balsamo, the White Hat referee this evening. And the Ravens obviously losing Pete Brewer to ejection last week. We want to have a close conversation and make sure things are all above board, especially if it involves losing Darius Holiday-Miller.
And I think that might be the case. He looks like he's heading to the locker room. So it looks like Darius Holiday-Miller's night might be done. And there's plenty of discussion still going on here, so there may be, I don't know if there's multiple penalties on this.
And it looks like they're having an extensive chat there. Head coach and defensive tackle Jason Leon and Brian Balsamo.
Okay.
We're just going to listen into Brian Balsamo's call here. Well, there it is. An unsportsmanlike conduct on Darius Holiday-Miller following the back end of a 12-yard run. Here's the back end of it now. Obviously, we have no audio on the sidelines. We don't know what was said, how it was said. All we can see on the screen is it does hand over China James. Said that an unsportsmanlike conduct and means for ejection. So for back-to-back weeks, a key Raven ejected here on home turf.
As we talked about before, Kenny, running back is a position the Ravens so far this year have been dangerously thin at. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments they make here in terms of personnel.
This week, they literally just got backup running back Farrar, who's lining up in the backfield now, who's supposed to start at middle linebacker in place for Peter Brewer. So it looks like his night has just gotten a lot busier. They'll immediately try to get him into the action, and what a draw play. Dialed up there, Farrar, picking up quite a few yards, setting him in positive territory here on second down.
And I like the play call there, going to the draw. New player want to get hands on the ball, getting some play, but also the defense going to be protected that and going to try and bring speed. The draw play forces them on the heels a little bit to find some good running lane.
Well, big response there. They're not afraid to run their new back. Now, let me tell you about Farrar here, wearing the number 27. Last couple of weeks, that's been worn by Stegman. Christopher Farrar, a Navyman He's been out at sea the last couple of weeks. That's why he's missed the first 2 weeks. So if you thought he was having a holiday, it looks like, as I said earlier, about to be in for a busy night. Here he is, the pass protect. Stegman wants to go left. We'll find his favourite target in a Warwick Russell, who'll convert for a first down.
First time we've called his name tonight outside of special teams duties. So I expect to see a lot more of him based on the start he's had to the season.
Him working the outside really well on play there, and also goes Justin Lee on him and his sort of season. And it's interesting, it's not plays throughout the last couple of years and being absolutely a target, a highlight reel. But with Mitch Bessie having to take a bit of a back seat just for other commitments of life at the moment and rotating through the back end of the receiver group, it's allowed Warwick Russell to truly emerge as a number one receiver, not just a slot guy, not just a specialist, but a true bona fide number one wide receiver.
Correct, and I think, I don't think Russell might be saying this, but I think due to his size, you'd probably be forgiven for stereotyping him as a slot receiver or as a number two. So, yeah, having a Mitchell Bessie having to take a bit of a back seat this year has allowed him to step into that role absolutely seamlessly. And I think for those who have been around the league for a few years and have watched him at representative duties and stuff as well, no one would be surprised by that. But as you said, I think it's something he's been sort of typecast on for the last couple of years behind Mitchell Bessie and co.
And amongst all that chat, all he does is keep making plays. Now, Troy Posey thought was going to be uncovered for a second. This is an odd coverage here. Posey's got a safety effectively lined up him, but he's back about 10 yards. And over the middle, finding his tight end there in Robbie Corkett. So Jared Stegman doesn't intend that first quarter drama to stop and slow down his day.
No, absolutely not. And that's something with this Ravens team, you know, even though they're thin on numbers today, they are very, very deep in talent. So it is something that we've talked about in the past, that they're fairly fortunate in terms of when they lose personnel or lose players. The next man up rule certainly does apply here.
Lockie Amore checked into the game now here at left slot. He's going to be working on Sam Bull, their star edge player. Underneath again to Corkett, scored a touchdown last week. Tackled there after making about a 5-yard grab by the number 16 in Nate Miles.
And something you mentioned before, Kenny, in regards to Farrar being back in the squad. So he's been at sea for the last 2 weeks, came back this week and has come into the team at linebacker, now at running back. But something that's been mentioned, due to the weather that we've had in southeast Queensland for the last week, the Ravens haven't actually been practicing this week because they haven't had field availability. So he is coming in very, very green.
Indeed he is, and I think the Rhinos might have squeezed one in on Tuesday night before having their field also closed on Thursday. They just stuck to walkthroughs, but the Ravens had nothing but a couple of Zoom sessions on the Tuesday night. So both teams coming in pretty uncooked right now. Farrar at back, tailback, but he'll be used for play action as they dump it off to Corkett. That's 3 straight catches to that man, and he spins and turns, and there was an initial touchdown call, but the arms, they do not stay there. So he will be down at the Rhinos 1.
I think Corkett's role this year has been grossly underestimated by teams, and also probably hasn't been recognised quite as much by us either, in terms of has certainly had a lot to do in the passing game, but also in the run game as well. He's featured in the last couple of weeks too.
They'll try to use the run game to bust over the goal line here. The Rhinos appeal for a fumble, but the officials claim the play was dead and momentum had well and truly ceased prior to that ball coming out. So the Ravens survived that one. I might cast you back to their first offensive possession, where it was Braden Quinn who
bring back the Rhinos feeling comfortable with their line defense based on that first drive tonight.
inches away from the goal line. Troy Posey and Nate Ashton Miles here down the near side of the field. Farrar in the backfield to Warwick Russell out there to the left. They'll look to Warwick Russell's way on a slant. He'll aim low, but it'll be fantastic coverage there. Breaking up the play, number 24, Sam Collins.
Yeah, great awareness there by Collins. Obviously, that quick slant pattern is very, very hard to do, but clearly he's filmed this week. Stuck on that beautiful the route for break up.
I think DB will be proud of that one. Yeah, that handling on the back there to break up the play. Fantastic work from one of many Collins on this team, all unrelated, however.
Oh, really? You wouldn't think
There's
that?
about 3 Collins on this team, none of which related, at least not to their knowledge. 3 wide receivers out to the right now. Farrar will run a flat, and they'll throw to the new running back, and the new running back will get over. Flags on the back end of that play.
Great play there by Farrar. Certainly doesn't look like he hasn't been around for the first 3 weeks of the season and missed practice during the off-season due to his Navy commitments. Just waiting to see here now what the may be. We will wait.
Missed the route. The front side looked all fine. Flag came from the direction of one of the back judges. And we just getting the call. It was a chop block on the backside of that line there, meaning that someone was engaged both upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah, correct.
Block.
So a chop block is where the defensive lineman is engaged by an offensive lineman up high, and then somebody comes and takes his legs out or hits him below the waist.
So this moved what should have been inches away and a simple touchdown to a 3rd and goal all the way back close to the 20. Here we are, middle of the second, over the middle, looking for Corkett once again. Out of his reach, flags down, back where Stegman was hit.
Across the middle, Stegman's favourite touch, and the ball is barely just a little bit too out in front of him. Otherwise, it was a good ball.
On that reach back there was the potential roughing the passer, and was that the call there?
I believe it was. So marking it for so half the distance to the goal, and looks like we've got first down as a result of the roughing the passer.
So both teams giving up key penalties here as the Ravens continue to knock on the door of this Rhinos defense. The Rhinos defense has only surrendered 3 points so far. Here we are towards the middle period of the second quarter. Stegman, shovel pass, Farrar will meet resistance, and he still can't get there. We will have 2nd and goal.
Nice play call and play design there by Stegman in terms of drawing the defense in and then switching off that little shovel pass to Rhino goal line defense to bring up 2nd goal on about 3. Right, Ravens lined up. Twins to the right. Stegman's rolling out. Got eyes in the back of the end zone. And a touchdown, Ravens.
Lockie Amore getting what I believe is his first senior touchdown. Here on the back end of that drive, it went back and forth a few times, but here they go. Finally getting on the board. Stegman throwing his first touchdown of the evening. And the Ravens now extend their lead. 16-0 PAT to come.
This Ravens offense, too dangerous, too high-powered to give away those sorts of roughing the passer penalties, which keeps drives alive and giving you new sets of downs. And the Ravens take advantage of that to score the touchdown. So here we see Russell lined up for the extra point. Snap's pretty good. Kick is good. And that makes it, I believe, 17-0 in the mid of the second quarter. So great. We've talked earlier about Amore and his big play potential, and being a young talent, the Ravens are excited to see what he can do this year, and he comes good for us with a touchdown here in the second.
Yes, he did. He's one of those young players who has been toiling away since his junior days here on the Bayside, back when they were at Bulimba. Might have even actually been there in the Cannon Hill days for the Bayside Ravens. Graduated to the senior level now and finding his ways to contribute to this Bayside offense.
All right, Ravens here to kick off here in about mid of the second. And again, looks like we have Shanks and James are back for the return. Two very, very dangerous return men. Decent kick.
Shanks will field this at his own 4. Looking for gaps, breaking through the middle, but not before long, before he's tackled down there by the Ravens special teams unit. Making the tackle, I think there was Popel. And the Rhinos offense will come back in the field, and we've got an injury timeout down on the field there, the number 27 in JJ Camargo. That's going to be pretty big for the Rhinos. They're starting running back.
Yeah, it's going to be a big out for them if he can't go for the rest of today. So far shown some good stuff and some explosive plays. And again, young team, and running back is one of the positions they are a little bit thinner, so it'll be interesting to see who they bring in here. I think it would be the 82, which is Angus Franz by my recollection.
Yeah, well, they're missing one of their other experienced running backs in Dean Latumahina, who was involved in a car accident earlier this week, and he's okay, but he's just dealing with some pretty severe whiplash at the moment, so he's out for this week.
Definitely not something you want to try and play football with, so we wish him a speedy recovery and I hope he gets back on the field soon.
And just double checking there, the team that Camargo played for 5 years back in Brazil, it's the Rondonópolis Hawks. I don't think I got that pronunciation correct first time, but representing them after his 5-year stint. Rondonópolis Hawks, that's probably it. There we go.
Right.
My Spanish blood kicking in there after a little second.
Well, he made his way off the field under his own power, I think, so I hope he gets back out later on this evening.
First down and 10. Bradford, 2x2 wide receivers, and he'll play action pass to Franz that is intended to the 14 there in Fenwick, who's now rotating through, but it's incomplete. Second down and 10.
I think, Kenny, after some early teething issues with the Rhinos offensive line in that they started to give
Well, he's a huge, but they're constantly jostling for depth chart positions, these wide receivers here for Brisbane. Bradford observing the field, but now wants to run right. Will shake one defender nicely before beating another and getting close down. He'll make this third and very manageable for his offense.
It's what makes Bradford so dangerous. So he had time in the pocket there. For escaping. The miss, decides to run himself. All right, so Rhinos in a third and a long one, as we mentioned. 4 wide. Here's a handoff and met in the backfield. Be interesting to see where they mark this, but it looks like he is short. It should bring up 4th and about the same by the looks of it. So about 4th and probably a 1.5.
And, well, they were about this distance when they went for it on 4th and double sticks. A drive ago. I can imagine they'll have similar intentions here. Bradford doesn't look like he's jumping off the field. He's getting a play call sent into him by Coach Harkness. 4th and 1. The downs being handled tonight by Ravens legend Phil Taylor and his son Jackson. They've been more than happy to volunteer for the chains for the senior games. These 2x2 set here. One running back in the backfield. I think that's Franz with Bradford. Quick throw to the right and is completed for a first down. The Rhinos find a...
They're thinking, given it was such a short, what the under center and sneak. Quick pass. That with these.
There's that man there. There's Toshak, who's actually had a pretty busy night as far as targets go. First down now. Bradford with an open side of the field to the left here. Wants to throw immediately to that man, Max Williams. And Williams grabs another first down chain mover for this Rhinos offense.
We mentioned that man in pre-game. We watched him last week do exactly this. He loves this route. And I think down Rhinos.
And that the audio is coming through choppy. We're still searching for answers for that, but in the meantime, we're just trying to call the game as best as we can for you in spite of that. First down and 10 here, Brisbane Rhinos. Shanks near side wide receiver, but they'll give this off to the third back here in Wood getting involved, and that's a good healthy gain there on first down.
Yeah, nice run there by Wood on first down. Picks up about 5, maybe 4 by the looks of that. No, 5. Good blocking there on the left-hand side of the line there where you've got experienced guys like Ryan Gaston at centre and Joshy Koo at left guard. Certainly makes life a lot easier for that run game.
Second down and 5 here for the Rhinos. Trips left as they've done many a times this drive. He wanted to hit the 13 in Taylor, but he sailed that pass above him head. He really needed that pass out in front of him.
Yeah, looking at that one, Kenny, I think it's the Ravens. I think the situation with the it's a little bit different to Bradford. Thinking that was a wild pass, I think it was just a miscommunication.
17-0 here. Ravens defending home turf successfully so far. Showing blitz off this right side, gets back on side, does Cape well, but it's a nice slant caught there by Calder Shanks. And look at him wrestle his way forward close to the 16 here at the Ravens. And Shanks has been an absolute dynamo since bursting onto the scene as a Sunshine Coast Spartan Junior as a quarterback and free safety. Did the same once he moved over to the Brisbane Rhinos there and got some tutelage under Booker. Absolutely destroyed the competition at the national level as well. And he continues to prove why he's so dangerous in the men's competition to this day. It looks like he's put on a couple of healthy pounds here over the off-season.
Yeah, he certainly has had a big off-season. I think what's impressive so far about the Rhinos offense is the fact that Calder Shanks is such an impressive weapon and as you've said, he's a very, very dominant player. And they really haven't had to go to him or make him their number one target so far tonight, as that would be probably what the Ravens would have been expecting to see a healthy dose of.
And I think what he's also probably dealing with now is he's a known attacking commodity. A lot of defenses shading coverage that way. He was actually kept relatively quiet against the Logan City Bears in that big win for the Rhinos last week and allowed someone like Max Williams to shine a fair bit. And I think right now he's dealing with the ups and downs of being a number one wide receiver. Now they've moved him out to the right-hand side, and guess who's making an appearance on offense? Chiam James. Has not played a whole lot of offense this year, has been left to defense and special teams. Here he is now, the near side wide receiver on your screen. He's going to go to work on Jordan Desbro, 2 experienced veterans there, and Desbro wins that one! The first time they throw to James, Desbro picks it off, now he fumbles it, and it's recovered by the Rhinos! Absolute drama here inside the 20, recovering that football, number 58, Frankie Tinalau Jr., the left tackle.
Wow. I was thinking pre-snap there, Kenny. With the blitz and Chris Clark.
Hold on to it and he's just giving the Rhinos a fresh set of downs. So, talk about going from agony to ecstasy to agony again. First down, Rhinos following all of that. Bradford on the QB draw will try to race some defenders to the edge and gives himself up inside the Ravens 10.
Yes, smart move there by Bradford to take the slide and give himself up on the play as he was running into a wall of Raven jerseys. But handy yards there, sets up a 2nd and 4, and I think if you recall from last week, Kenny, this is the sort of stuff we talked about with the Mustangs in terms of, you know, giving themselves chances on 2nd and 3rd down by gaining positive yards, or we're seeing Rhinos that have been given.
That they are chasing their first points of the evening, trailing 17-0 here late in the second quarter. Bradford trips to the short side, called the Shanks all on his own against Popel here down on the near side of your screen. They'll hand the ball off, however, to Wood, and Wood will be taken down in the backfield there. I think that is Jerry Fa'agata taking him down.
And Joe Capwell in there as well, not far from the play. So again, the experience of that Ravens defensive line is certainly starting to show when their back is up against their own goal line.
3rd down and 5. Rhinos technically with a turnover on. Well, this is another drive in itself, technically speaking. There was a change of possession. 3rd and 5. Franz now in the backfield. He'll protect. They'll look to go deep, and will this get intercepted? Oh. No, it will not. Trying to track that ball was Popel, and it sails safely over his head. So now we'll have a decision made here from the Rhinos. In fact, they're going to take a timeout following that incomplete pass to have a think about it.
Yeah, look, I think it was a good play design there. Looks like they were trying to have a little rub route there where we have the two receivers sort of cross over and get the coverage confused, but I think there's a miscommunication there with the receivers as they both seem to sort of stop running and the ball sailed out the back of the end zone. So far the last 2 drives, I guess, technically, Kenny, been impressed with what we've seen so far from the Rhinos offense. I think they're starting to click and put it together, as I said. Coach Harkness told us that he was opening the playbook and installing some new stuff this week, and so far I'd certainly suggest that it's starting to look quite positive for them.
And I'm surprised. They've got a very competent kicker in Tom Fenwick, who has both next level aspirations, both either in Europe or at college. They're not going to go to his leg here and get on the board. They're going to send Bradford back out into the field, and they're going to try and convert here. They do not need to score. They can convert and get a fresh set of downs with about 5.5 yards. Shanks again, near side wide receiver. The rest of the 4 out wide to the right. They're looking over the middle. They've got Max Williams, who's at least got a first down, and then he makes it 6. No flags on the field. Rhinos on the board for the first time tonight.
And once again, Max Williams running across the middle of the field there. We saw this last week against the Bears. Nice ball up the seam.
Working the outside hard up the middle for someone like Max Williams to take advantage, and now they're going to send Fenwick in to try and turn 6 into 7.
Yeah, a good awareness there by Bradford. Saw the pressure coming up the middle, so knew there was no zone coverage in the middle for him to worry about, and has had Williams on the seam.
Fenwick, a respected kicker so far here in GQ, gets this kick up and gets this kick through. 17-7. And let me also further announce that is the first points scored on this Bayside defense here in 2021.
And you'd probably suggest that Coach Leon and the defense, because they love their clean sheet, probably won't be happy to give up some that control. As we start to creep towards half time.
That it does, and yeah, my chat with Jason Leon this week, he said he was very impressed with his young group of opposing wide receivers, but did single out number 85, Max Williams, saw the big explosive plays he made down the field, and he emphasized for his defense, the biggest thing they're going to need to do is tackle well today, because he was impressed by the each of these wide receivers. We can't let a rudimentary play take over the game by turning what should be a 6-yard gain into a 60. That one, well, the tackling, I guess, turned a first down into a touchdown as Warwick Russell will use a soccer maneuver to try and stop this ball. And this offense now might be in trouble unless Warwick Russell can dig them out, and he does a decent job getting them to the Ravens 18.
Wow. So just a reminder for that ball is squatting around down Russell to
Led to the this is where the Ravens.
He's absolutely right. First time this season, so it'll be good to see how they adjust here. If we can get a good stop or a good series here from the Rhinos, I suggest it's game on.
So, Stegman wearing number 4 here this evening. Looking to the right for Corkett immediately, who runs a beautiful route and gets them out to the Ravens 26.
Corkett really has been that release valve of
It looks like the Rhinos trying desperately to put in the NFL this season, put a roof over the top of this Ravens offense and trying to limit the big explosive plays. I think that might be part of the game plan to allow someone like Corkett to all these yards underneath. They're going to try and make the Ravens run as many plays as they can here while they're in offense. Roll out to the left here for Stegman, looking for Quinn, and Quinn caught his first target, can't quite bring that one in. He'll be a 3rd down and 5 situation upcoming here for the Bayside Ravens, still around their own 20.
I like these rollout plays that we've seen a few times tonight from Stegman. The offensive line are blocking them very well in terms of resetting the pocket and moving with their quarterback. So for those at home, looks like there's pressure coming from the Rhinos D-line. It's not that. It's actually the O-line resetting and giving Stegman plenty of confidence to throw those sorts of balls.
3rd down and 5. Stegman with Farrar flanked to his right. He has Posey down on this near side to your screen area as well, but he'll look to the open side, looking for Warwick Russell, and Russell wrestles that ball away, just as we talked about putting a top on this defense. Russell breaks it wide open.
We started to play great pressure there from the Rhinos. They get through to Stegman, who throws the individual play to jump Moss. Then and now heading into a threatening field position.
Sam Collins did 99% of his job there. Absolutely a mossing from Warwick Russell. Posey trying to get underneath it. Can't reel it in. And just like that, this Ravens offense has made it clear they will not in that position.
It's a very expensive offense, and they won't be having 7 points for the first half. They chasing after more points.
Troy Posey, who's clearly got a clean set of heels on him, could not bring that ball in. It was a perfectly thrown pass there from quarterback Jared Stegman. Here they are with 2nd and 10. 3 receivers to the right, but they'll go back to Russell on the backside screen. Big block from Blomenstein, and here goes Warwick Russell. He'll get them inside the 10.
Another great play there, and if we can just have a look here on the replay, we'll see.
Julian
block there, sprint right. The 9.
As a former Wildcat from the south side of Wildcat Day, played junior, older brother as well. Also played and represented the Wildcats and junior Sun Devils. Julian Martinez, though, found his way over to JUCO, now bringing back that experience here for the Bayside Ravens. He's at left tackle at the moment. 1st down and goal. Stegman scanning the field, looking for the back of the end zone. Wide open, Warwick Russell.
That man again. As we talked about before, he can do everything. So that time going across the middle, he catches that ball. We're not sure what number touchdown that would be for the year for him. But again, very, very dangerous receiving core. These neutralize.
4. That's for him. Those numbers absolutely routing. Moster a defender earlier, and this time he absolutely routes another there on that corner out. Here he is to try and convert this. Snap wasn't pretty, but the kick is good enough. Chuck another one on the scoreboard. The Ravens now lead 24-7, answering the first points there from the Rhinos.
And again, to bring up a point that we had last week, Kenny, another score off the teams.
That not could challenge him there.
It's about the only one.
And I mean, the Spartans and Raptors did put up a pretty good combined score this earlier today as well, so they'd be up there. But you're right, the team of Warwick Russell would be pretty impressive there in the for and against standings. Late in the second, getting close to halftime here.
I was going to mention on the last play, Kenny, when we talk about the number of weapons on this offense, that we saw Mitchell Bessie out at receiver, name we haven't called much tonight. That gives you an idea of the depth of this Ravens offense when a Queensland and Australian representative in Mitchell Bessie is being used in rotation.
Yeah, and we've talked about it a lot there, and obviously that's not a sign of Mitchell's talent or lack of talent. He's hasn't been able to attend practice nearly as much as he'd like, as he handles his fatherly duties as players do as they get older in this league. And this kick is going dangerously out of bounds, as it does. Calder Shanks shows some awareness to let that ball go. So this will be solid field position here for the Rhinos. Let's see if they choose not to take a re-kick, however. They've got two dangerous returners, and that is not unheard of here in this league.
Dangerous game when the ball lands infield like that and squirts around. Like, yes, it's heading towards the sideline, but it can just easily stop, or they could recover it, and that's, yeah, it's a bit of a coach killer, that one.
Well, we brought it up last week regarding Randall Cobb, I believe, and his awareness there. What Calder Shanks could have done was run out of bounds and touch the football after getting out of bounds there, and that would have made that ball a dead ball. But no harm done, at least not to the Rhinos. They got some good field position here at their own 30. Trailing 24-7. Got on the board last drive, however. Did technically throw a touchdown, interception on that drive. First down and 10. Bradford will choose to scramble. Looks for some help before this Ravens defensive front took him down. Eventually, that tackler being number 55 there, and Caleb Danielson Jensen.
Looks like we and had help.
Just saw that gap and wanted to go for it, and that is the tendency of younger quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be. You're right. Absolutely, a tendency for younger quarterbacks. It is tough to get used to. Trusting your offensive line, and particularly given that there are some new bodies on that line, and they haven't had a lot of practice this week. So it will take a little bit of time to develop that chemistry. But I like what I see so far.
Just noticed the offensive line for the Ravens sitting down there together, and on that time, I wish we had a chance to go down to number 51 for the Ravens, and maybe we'll after this this next play here. It's Matthew Ole rocking a very unique haircut. We'll check back at that a little later, but for now, the Rhinos trailing here, and then now with a second down ahead of them. Bradford looks deep initially, but then is pressured and tries to get it down to his dump-off option in there in Fenwick, but it's incomplete. Amongst them, rushing him off his spot, Sheldon Takave-Chand.
Very, very dangerous pass rusher. Did well to get around the corner there and put pressure on, but hey, good awareness by Bradford. Know where his receiver was, get the ball out. Just live to fight another day.
Third down and 10. The Ravens defense, a specialist on this down and distance with their front four. Jared Stegman just in the near side sideline to us here. He's asked his entire offense to come around and have a chat here, but meanwhile, it's the Rhinos off watching. Bradford again doesn't like what he's filled and will take off, and he needed to get past the 40.5. I think he just got there.
Yeah, it looks like he got to the 41. Good vision. Blocked. Yeah, him to block. The first down. Great there by Bradford.
Wonderful protection there by the left tackle, Frankie Tenellout Jr., working against Jack Abel. Forced him to go easy wide on that last play. That created the running room for Bradford to take advantage of. First down and 10. Bradford wants to go deep. Has no one there, though. Don't know what he read at pre-snap. He wanted to go to the 13 and Taylor, but it sails well and truly over him. They'll come back on second down and try again.
Yeah, interesting point there, Kenny. Yeah, something was definitely a miss on the pre-snap read there. Whether he just got rid of it a bit early because he may have felt a bit of pressure, that can happen as well with young quarterbacks, particularly with an inexperienced or a new offensive line, and tend to rush their reads or rush their progressions, and may have been what we saw there.
It is one of the more athletic-looking offensive lines seen so far through the streamed games on Live LSB Australia. Second down and 10. Bradford delivers early, finds Max Williams, who'll pick up 5, maybe 6 yards.
Yeah, good read there by Bradford. There, but also getting his more of time. Catch that by Williams and gives for
third and a long 5, maybe even in 6. Franz in the backfield. Again, another 3-by-1 set employed here from the Rhinos. He's looking for Shanks. Wants Shanks on the fade. Shanks can't readjust. Tried the back shoulder fade there to Shanks there on third down. Couldn't quite connect.
Said back on that. So have to go try take advantage of that matchup again. It looks like they're sending out the punt unit.
So Troy Posey's going to quickly run onto the field here. 24-7 the score is towards the back end of this second quarter. It will be Fenwick back to punt. He'll be punting to the combination of Russell and Clark, but it's a great punt. And sign that one up to the brand. That's inside the 5. Fantastic work by Fenwick and their specials there for the Rhinos.
Beautiful little pooch punt there. So you can see take the ball. It's a great bounce and has that 3 job. Teams unit.
You can see now why that man has aspirations to get to the next level with his kicking ability.
We saw him last week, didn't we, Kenny, against the Bears with some of his field goals and kickoffs, and we were sitting in the stands and we're like, wow, this is incredible.
Well, his PATs especially felt like they were just shot straight out of a cannon. You could well and truly hear them from the stands. 24-7. They're going to have close to the full length of the field here, Jared Stegman and this Birdtown offense. He puts the 14 and Robbie in motion, but he wants Posey underneath. A nice wrap, but was Posey out of bounds? That he was.
Just going back to what you said before, Kenny, about a little bit of but long, and that is 50 plus.
Wouldn't have been surprised with the trajectory and speed it was traveling. Again, I'm just noticing the audio there, guys. I do apologize again if the audio is coming out a little bit choppy. We'll revise it at halftime and see if we can fix that for you. And it's another pass to the 14 and the tight end there in Robbie Corkett. Keep almost calling him Robbie Barwick, the former Sunshine Coast Spartan Jr., who actually played earlier on this field for the in the BRL A-grade competition here at Carina for Valley's Diehards, I believe. You made note of his gridiron background. First down and 10 here, but time's going to be ticking away. We no longer have Tim Redford here giving us the official time, which was quite handy. But it is, by our estimation, edging towards that 2-minute warning.
Very, very close to, if we haven't already had it and we may have missed it, but looks like maybe this is what they're waiting for here.
Yeah, it might be. Brian Bolzano, everyone just patiently waiting. The Rhinos have already returned to a huddle here. I don't think we missed a timeout, so context clues would suggest the 2-minute warning is almost upon us. I would like to use this opportunity to thank the sponsors for both of these clubs here. For the Rhinos, Resistance Sports Science in Enoggera for all your PT and recovery needs. iSponsor, a great way to support our clubs. You know the Brisbane Rhinos are definitely benefiting from the iSponsor app. And AusMV, Australian manufactured vehicles, the place to go for American pickup trucks. Big supporters of the Brisbane Rhinos. These streams between the Ravens and the Rhinos paid for by both of these clubs in a combined effort here. Watch the edge here, number 90, Malachi Relton Stewart, a very talented young rookie, but they'll go deep here again to Troy Posey, who locks on this time. Couldn't bring in a touchdown. A drive or two ago, makes no mistake here, getting that ball just short of halfway.
Where running here, one, they're in half.
Very quick, and 10, just short of halfway. Stegman goes quickly there to Corkett. Corkett's trying to high step his way through defenders. And in fact, I think he might have got himself a first down. It'll be close.
It looks like I got the first down. The time is more important than I really want to see him.
On the move in the final 2 minutes of this half. Protection from the offensive line. He finds a Russell just short of the marker, and Russell advances that ball for a fresh set of downs here and gets the ball out of bounds.
Awareness. Second and one, as we talked about already.
Can actually have a huddle there. You can get out of your no huddle, discuss the next play in detail. Coming out with a tight end in Corkett, 3 wide receivers. Moray, who scored his first touchdown in the right slot. Stegman holding the middle of the field and looking for Russell over the top, and the Russell train continues. The GQ leading touchdown scorer this season adds another.
We'll see here, Kenny. Absolutely outstanding pass action. Taking plenty of time that route. Beautiful. Centimeter perfect.
Throwing up after that. And now the score, 30-0 PAT to come here for Bayside. And that PAT is successful, 31-7. The score now for the Bayside Ravens with only change left on the clock here this quarter. I don't think the Rhinos have a whole lot of time to operate with. They do have a timeout, at least one timeout in the pocket for them.
Yeah, Ken, I don't think the scoreboard really indicates, I guess, the competitiveness of the game and where the Rhinos are at. So I think the Rhinos would go into half-time here. You probably wouldn't be happy with the 31 that's been given up, but you'd feel comfortable about where you're at and what you can do in the second half to help close that gap and get back into this game.
Yeah, I don't know. Sam Harkness had big aspirations of taking down these reigning champions here at Bayside, particularly at home here, but he's going to have a big second half cut out for them. In fact, they're one more score away from this clock here in the second half, moving to a running clock, so they're going to have to find a way to get points early in the third quarter. Mitch Bessie once again here to kick off. Cheyenne James called the Shanks again back to return. Haven't been able to break one yet, and Mitch Bessie is going to make it very hard, but this was caught in first slip by Wood, and Wood, well, I don't know who really got the big hit there. Wood went forward, but delivering the blow was the defensive back, number 31, is Jordan Desbro, former Sun Devil.
His hands. Good. See.
Big shot here. Less than 2 minutes remaining here. First half, week 3, Gridiron Queensland action. Bayside Ravens hosting the Brisbane Rhinos. Ravens would also like to thank First on Fruit and Morningside. Feast on Fruit and do it through First on Fruit and Morningside. First down and 10. Franz in the backfield now. 3-by-1 to the open side. Bradford wanting Shanks underneath. Shanks will get this out of bounds here at the Ravens 39.
Good protection. Bradford. Shanks takes it out of bounds. Stop the clock. And,
well, with Jordan focus, Stingrays possibly out for a little bit of time. They had to use emergency quarterback Dylan Napier last game, and we were not sure what the game plan would have been for tonight's game. Unfortunately, for those who were playing at the coast, cancelled. As we'll get back to that, as Bradford has some time, but is under pressure, will throw this off the back foot there. And just to give you an idea how well this pass rush for the Ravens has drilled, and that might be the half here, and the Ravens lead out to 31 at the 2.
Yeah, Kenny, I think as we head into halftime, Ravens will be very happy with that, and what they've seen, particularly after the first couple of drives, are a bit rusty. But on the other side, the Rhinos, some good things happening there, and they're building their system. I think they'll make some adjustments at halftime and come out and make it a lot more competitive.
All right, we're going to go to fix-it mode here at halftime and try to address a few things for you. Stick with us. Second half, Ravens hosting the Rhinos on the other half of halftime, other side of halftime. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you got the hint and you jumped onto this new stream here. We had to just set up a new stream as we dialed back some of the technical stuff behind the scenes, and hopefully our audio and replay dramas are behind us for the rest of the evening. We'll be on it again if they are not, but I appreciate your patience throughout this situation. Kenny Andres, Adam Bolton bringing you this Week 3 broadcast between Team 1 and 2 here in the men's division of Gridiron Qld. On this opportunity to once again thank the sponsors for these two teams. For the Rhinos, Resistance Sports Science and Inaugura, handling all your PT and recovery needs. iSponsor, providing assistance financially to a bunch of teams through various different ways. Do check out that app on the iTunes store or the Apple store. And Australian manufactured vehicles, AusMV, the place to go for American pickup trucks. And for the Bayside Ravens, First and Fruit and Morningside, as well as Anytime Fitness, making fitness fun. As this second half kicks off here, Chris Clark won't be given an opportunity to return this kick. Ravens first on the ball with 31 points in pocket.
Excellent opening kickoff there, Kenny. We mentioned before in terms of the kicking game here for the Rhinos. That's probably a shining example of what we're talking about. And as we start the third quarter, I think we'll see the Rhinos defense will certainly be looking to make some adjustments and try and contain this Ravens offense heading into the second half.
Shining light for the Brisbane Rhinos. They are the first team here in Gridiron Queensland to get points on them so far. That came through a Max Williams touchdown off a Bradford pass midway through the second quarter. Farrar in for the ejected Darius Holiday-Miller, uses a fake, and that's Chyam James tackling a Warwick Russell, who's already had a monster game with two quarter football.
Yeah, good adjustment here by James. Great awareness. James has been around the game for a very long time, and yeah, does a fantastic job of shutting down the screen.
And ladies and gentlemen, just to help some of the audio issues we've been having, we will be dialing back on replays there and trying to save it for the bigger of plays this evening. So won't be throwing as many replays your way. Troy Posey, far side receiver now. Faraz in the backfield. Both tight ends in here for the Ravens. Farrar finding some good space there. A great block there from Jerry Fa'agata. Playing both sides of the ball here and doing it effectively.
Absolute textbook counterplay there, Kenny, where we had the right tackle and the right guard pulling. Slight delay step by the running back, takes the handoff and follows his blocks. And as mentioned, I guess a great game there for the first down. First down and 10.
Ravens advance it past their 30 ball on the Ravens 31.5. Ball handle there from Matthew Ole. Same formation here, twins tight ends out to the right. And they'll run behind them now. Some fantastic blocks from the interior of the line. Matty Ole getting dirty on that play and really digging out the trenches.
Yeah, another great display of blocking there from the Ravens offensive line. In particular, that man, Matthew Ole, getting about 15 yards downfield. Good to see him out there doing some good work with the interesting haircut he's got at the moment. For viewers at home who may not have seen it, imagine a mullet with cornrows. That's pretty much what we're dealing with there. So if you're going to have a haircut like that, you better perform on the field.
I think our cameraman Harry caught it a little early for us in the first half there. We might come back to it later if we can both get on the same page at the same time. First down and 10. Just past halfway. Reverse pivot, play action pass. Stegman now flushed out to the left. Glasson and for Molly rushing him, and the pass intended to Chiam James. He's now being covered. Oh no, sorry, lost track of who's throwing the football there. Chiam James playing defense. Pass intended to Warwick Russell. I thought Russell might have been out of defense for the Ravens there. Lost my bearings. Second down and 10 upcoming here for the Ravens.
And good pressure there by Glasson and the Rhinos defense there to flush Stegman out of the pocket and force that errant pass. Certainly says a lot about Russell's impact when you've got the 6'3" Chiam James covering him at this point.
Well, the Ravens not afraid no matter who lines up, and we'll go back to that after this play. Well, that man we were talking about, Russell on the right slot. Farrar sent out to the flat, but he's going to go back to his underneath option in court. And he's been a safe option today, and he's not happy with how long the defender stayed on him. I think that's Saxby, the middle linebacker, covering him on that play.
Yeah, and Corker just shrugging him off over the sideline. Nothing has certainly been a very reliable tonight for Stegman.
Oh, we want to talk about mullets. How about the 50 on this sideline for the Ravens? Caleb Danielson Jensen would attack for a loss. I don't know if our man, our cameraman, can quickly get down to that. No, we won't have time for it, but geez.
Well, it's impressive.
Some impressive mullets here on this Ravens sideline. And Quinn moved from left to right. Now they're back to their 3-by-1 set. Chiam James, Warwick Russell, the matchup here down to the left, but they'll go back to Quinn, I believe. Quinn with his third target of tonight, second catch, moves the chains on third down.
Yeah, great ball there by Stegman. Nice reliable underneath target. Holds onto the ball well there in traffic and gets the first down.
First down and 10. Now at the Rhinos 27. Corkett now split out to a slot receiver here in the left-hand slot. Try Posey alone out to the right. Deep drop here from Stegman. He's looking for Posey underneath. And Posey finding a lot of space in those earlier deep routes. Even though they didn't connect on some of them there, obviously paying dividends because Posey's been giving a lot of space underneath the work since the back of that second.
This is a very, very dangerous threat. And although probably this season we haven't had haven't seen that use to its full advantage just yet. That said, the Ravens haven't had to really open up the playbook for him either. So yeah, those deep plays are a big, big threat, and that's why he's been given such a big buffer underneath.
And first down and 10 here from the Rhinos 14. Rolling out to his offside, Jared Stegman might have to run, and the Rhinos defense will take him down behind the line. They're raking out the ball late as well. They're arguing they might have the football.
They've come up with it.
Ryan Glasson is one of the people. Or Molly.
And the offense, the Rhinos didn't think they got the ball. The offense is coming on.
I haven't seen a call, but I think both teams have resigned to the fact that Stegman's lost this ball. Rhinos have recovered.
There's the signal. So there we go. There was a bit going on there, and as you said, the Ravens' offense certainly didn't stay on or argue their point too hard. So, yeah, that's a big stop there by the Rhinos.
I'm not sure who forced it and who recovered it, but I think it is a combination of the 55 and 56 for the Rhinos. Travis Patterson and Ryan Glasson. Ryan Glasson running off, well, shall I say, strutting off with a whole lot of moxie after that play. So he's responsible in some way, shape, or form.
Well, he didn't go far because he's out there at centre at the moment as well.
Yeah, I think he forgot that he was the starting centre. He's had to quickly waddle his way back out there. 1st and 10, Rhinos desperately trying to dig into this Raven lead. Good protection, but Bradford, he can't find anyone downfield. Now he's lost the football. A twist of fate here, and the Ravens recover. That's twice now these offenses and defenses have traded the ball within a play of each other. Sometimes even less.
Wow, that's we have a look at that. Bradford, like, there. We have first down Ravens.
All right, we just tested a replay there. It looks like we might leave the replays for the rest of the night with the way it's off. Tested the waters. Waters were murky.
Just means people have got to pay attention when they're watching at home, Kenny.
Yeah, I believe you can. I think if you're watching, you can sort of replay yourself, to be honest. Just dial it back a little bit. But the ball in possession now of the Ravens, and just raise the last couple of plays because the Ravens are back where they were. They'll dump it time to Farrar, who's doing a wonderful job on short notice, replacing Darius Holiday and Miller. If he's been on the Navy the last couple of weeks, he couldn't have had a whole lot of practice either.
No, not at all, Kenny. As we talked about earlier in the coverage, the Ravens didn't have field availability due to the rain this week. So, yeah, he's had no real reps. He's only had film and walkthroughs pre-game. And it looks like the man we have just mentioned is down with cramp at the moment.
Don't blame him. He's starting at 2 positions, running back and middle linebacker. Has had no time to adjust to the speed of either side of the ball yet.
It's been fairly hot here the last few days and been a lot of rain, so it is fairly humid outside as well, which is not a good combination for cramp.
He's going to walk under his own power, so I guess they're going to have to find themselves another running back. If not, we're going to see some 5-wide sets here from the Bayside see
Wouldn't be shocked if we see Mr. Everything. See Russell back there.
Oh, quite possibly. Just a reminder, Darius Holiday Miller ejected in the first quarter after a 12-yarder run. And that's what forced Farrar to move to tailback. And now they will go to 5 wide. They'll utilize both tight ends, Quinn and Corkett, in on the play. 5 wide here for Jared Stegman alone in the backfield. Short to Quinn, and this time he tucks that ball as he crosses the goal line. He's starting to rack up a handful of touchdowns only in this season too.
Yeah, great play design there by the Ravens, and I think seeing that empty backfield set just shows how dangerous the weapons are that these Ravens have. To then get Quinn into the position there to run that slant pattern across the middle. Nice catch and touchdown, making that, I believe, 37.
With PAT to come, and they've changed kickers now. Who's this coming in for the Ravens? It is the Englishman, Robert Quimby, who we did see kick in that first week, kicked a field goal and a handful of PATs himself. So he's not lacking in the kicking department. Oh, commentator's curse on that one. And now here go the Rhinos trying to take this back for 2 points. It will eventually be stopped there by Mitchell Bessie and company. Robbie Corkett also in on the tackle. So an unsuccessful PAT for the Ravens. The score remains 37-7.
Been an interesting day for the brand, hasn't it, Kenny? Special teams has had a rough day in the kicking game, and there we see Chai and James get around the edge and block the extra point.
Block punt earlier in the game as well. That's the second block punt for the Ravens, I believe. That's actually possibly the third. I think they've blocked a punt almost every game now. Yep,
and we had the kickoff that went out of bounds as well, which is a kicker's nightmare.
So all the kickoff nightmare variants happening this evening. Your score now early in the third, 37-7. Ravens currently in control of a 3-0 start to the 21 season. Rhinos trying to find a miracle here to prevent their first loss of this young season. The Rhinos are sponsored by Resistance Sports Science and Inaugura. I sponsor OzMV, the place to go for American pickup trucks. This is a squib kick here from Mitch Bessie. Cheyenne James will field it gently before he bounces out to the out-hand side. And a nice tackle on him. by the special team, number 37, Jordan Warburton. The Rhinos will send Bradford and this offensive back on the field. Before that, another quick mention for the Ravens sponsors. First on Fruit and Morningside and Anytime Fitness. Today's big thank you to those sponsors for both of these clubs.
I don't think... Are we allowed to buy tickets in the meat raffle, Kenny?
I'm going to put... Never stopped before.
Have you won one before, Kenny?
I have not. First down and 10. Bradford, plenty of work to do. Shovel past to Wood. Wood, plenty of space to work with. He's got the first down and more. An eventual gain of 17 yards on first down.
Now, we saw that shovel pass in the first quarter, Kenny, get intercepted by Jason Leon for the touchdown, and Jack Capewell went very, very close to intercepting that one as well. I like the play, and the outcome was great, but the execution just needs a little bit of polish, I think.
I'm just double-checking the score. 37 minus 7 is 30, so we're still in regulation timing. And Rhinos, you'd think, to give themselves a chance here at any sort of comeback, has to score on this drive. Shanks in motion, not a bad option if you need a play out of nowhere. Bradford, great protection, tries to find Shanks, bounces off his hands, straight into the open hands of number 5, Chris Clark. And look at him shake defenders, pitches it off in this pick and pitch defense. And they are taken down in the 10. Eventually, Josh Bowes with the ball, and they will send their offense back with fantastic field position.
That was a fantastic play there by Chris Clark, and good awareness as well with the lateral. Wasn't a bad pass there by Bradford. Was into traffic. Unfortunately, the old tip drill.
Indeed.
Ball gets deflected. It's just everyone holds their breath collectively on the offense. And that happens. And Chris Clark, one of the dangerous guys in the secondary in this league, gets his hands on it, and you know you're in trouble then.
It's very interesting with Chris Clark. They really move him around like a chess piece, depending on what they deem the biggest strength for the other team. In week 1, played back deep. Week 2, to help stop the speed option, was played as a nickel against the Mustangs, and here he is back making plays in the deep third at free safety. On first down, Stegman pumps once, gets this to Lockie Amore, and Lockie Amore has his second touchdown for the night.
Another name that we talked about earlier, Kenny Amore, and in fact he's another exciting young talent on this Ravens team, so it's good to see him get on the board twice today and show some of his speed and elusiveness in the open field.
43-7. Give the defense an assist on that 6-pointer. Chris Clark with a pick. 2 plays ago. And yeah, you're right. On that intercept, Bradford tried to deliver a nice strike, and that was the time, really. He showed a bit of trust in his O-line and delivered a wonderful ball, unfortunately, off the hands of Calder Shanks. And that just presented this dangerous Ravens offense with a chance to stride in for 6, possibly 7. Last PAT blocked. This one, no slush luck for the Rhinos, and that'll be another point on the board. 44-7 now here for the Bayside Ravens. This looks like it'll be a perfect start to the season for them. Their first 3 opening games at home.
Yeah, just to revisit a point you made before, Kenny, about the way the Ravens defense uses Chris Clark. I think we've probably told this story before, but back in the preparation for I think it was the 2019 semi-finals when the Stingrays played against the Ravens. I remember when we were prepping for that game, it was with Damien Malloy and myself and the head coaching staff, etc. It was very much hey, where's Wally? Where's number 5 going to be? And watching film, and hey, we might see him here. And if we see him there, we had a lot of changes and a lot of alterations we needed to make because he's such a dangerous player.
That's the reason why he did win MVP in season 2019.
And rightfully so, I say.
Not many people. When was the last? I'm trying to remember the last MVP that was a defensive player in Gridiron Queensland. There wouldn't be a whole lot of them. Chris Mooney. Did Chris Mooney ever get one? Damien Malloy, perhaps, in his DB days?
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of one. I'm not sure Mooney won a league MVP. I think he won Defensive Player of the Year a number of times.
And Here goes James, another player who can score from anywhere on the field, who will advance this ball past the Rhinos 35. Another shout out to the Rhinos sponsors there. Resistance Sports Science in Inogra. I sponsor Oz MV, Australian manufactured vehicles, the place to go for American pickup trucks. And for the raisin, Fresh on Fruit in Morningside, Rod's Meadery in Gumdale, and Anytime Fitness, making fitness fun. First down and 10.
I think something that's worth briefly touching on, Kenny, before we get back to the play here is that Cheyenne James is playing mainly a defensive role for this Rhinos team. Says a lot about the young talent they have at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, that they do, and particularly in this run and shoot offense here for Sam Harkness, takes a lot of repetition and a lot of people on being on the same page. So sometimes experience, or at least familiarity with the reads in the playbook, as they pass this out to Shanks here on the left-hand side, breaks one tackle and gets about 5 yards out of that by the end of the play here. Sometimes familiarity with the playbook trumps talent and reputation, and that seems to be the case here. Sam Harkness did have a talk to me though, and he did mention that it's also partially him looking out for Cheyenne James. Cheyenne James has played both sides of the ball for the greater part of the last decade, I think, for the Rhinos, taking a big toll on his body. He said it's his part of trying to look out for CJ and his future beyond football. Yeah,
and that's that's smart there by Coach Harkness as well.
Second down and 5. Bradford, nice delivery to Max Williams. Finds him underneath the safeties there and converts for a first down. That ball got out of his hand real quick.
I think what we like so far today, Kenny, although the scoreboard certainly indicates a very one-sided game, this run and shoot offense that we're really seeing only being rolled out today for the first time has a huge amount of potential to grow on.
First down and 10. Bradford, Williams' last target. Wants to go long, but then pulls it deep. Buys time. Was looking for Taylor. Pass sails out of bounds, and that'll be second down and 10 here for the Rhinos.
Yeah, smart decision making there by Bradford. Didn't have his initial targets there. Bought some time with his feet. Couldn't find a safe target, I guess, and just slung it over the sideline to live another day.
This Rhinos offense showing plenty of reasons for hope that this could develop into one of the highest scoring offense in this season. Of course, they got their work cut out for them with a big jump here from the Bayside Ravens. And another pass underneath the Calder Shanks. Shanks can't bring it in, dropping his last 2 reception targets there, Calder, and he's looking fine, trying to find ways to get last 1 of 2 of 3. He caught the short pass out to the left there. He's trying to find ways to get into rhythm there, and still really yet to see him fire through the early weeks of this season. Right now, Max Williams getting the share of big plays.
I think with a talent like Calder Shanks, you keep going to the well there. You keep giving him the ball, keep giving him opportunities. I mean, for any receiver, trying to catch that ball across the middle when there's so much happening on the defense is always a daunting prospect, let alone for a young talent like him. So I don't think the Rhinos will be too worried about that. They'll keep trying to give him opportunities because he is so explosive when he does have the ball. Yeah,
there was under Coach Booker's offense there. You saw them try to get the ball, and that's both at the Rhinos and also at state level. Booker specifically calling... I asked him what position Calder Shanks would be playing. Of course, we've seen him at free safety, seen him at quarterback, seen him at receiver, and he goes, Calder Shanks is playing a position called get him the damn ball. And they did so many ways. They did that in so many ways, including some end arounds and reverses, and putting him at quarterback at times, or putting him at running backs at times. Do you think possibly? I know Sam Harkness is trying to install the type of offense here. Do you think some of that gadgetry could be used to help Calder Shanks get going here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can. You see that with college and the NFL system too, where they have dangerous talents like that, where they're just trying to get the ball in their hands, as we see here again. And looks like we have a flag on the play, maybe a roughing the passer.
I think Adenil Thompson's going to be done for a late hit on Bradford there. That should give this third down conversion here to the Rhinos as they hold on to a little bit of hope here. They are now, of course, into the running clock. 37 points is the margin. So they are fighting the clock here.
So what you were saying before, Kenny, about trying to get the...
Just confirming that was on the defense there. So, yes, it will be a chain mover here on that flag. Rhinos now on a decent march to trying to get this clock Back to regulation timing. Sorry, Bolts.
Yeah, so you were saying before, Kenny, about trying to get the ball into Calder-Shank's hands and being such a dangerous player. You see that a lot at college and even in the NFL level. So if we take, for example, like my team, the Las Vegas Raiders, with Henry Ruggs, he's such a dangerous player. The former head coach there, we won't name, used to do that a lot in terms of just get him the ball and let him make things happen.
2x2 set here. Camargo has not yet returned to the game. And we might see a delay game here. The Rhinos were desperately trying to get that snap off here. I think they might have taken a half second too long. False start.
Looks like a false start.
So it'll move him back 5 yards. But yeah, what a revelation this young receiver Max Williams has been for the Rhinos. This is 3 straight weeks he's put up decent numbers, and this time against the league-leading defense. 1st and 15, showing blitz of the Ravens, but they ended up dropping back everybody. And here's Calder Shanks. Shanks trying to make people move, and that is why we were so high on that young man. What a touchdown there to Calder Shanks.
Great ball there from Bradford, however, Calder Shanks hitting the ball space makes and then a spectacular dive into the corner for the touchdown. That is outstanding. And as Kenny, as you said, that is exactly what we're saying about just getting the ball in the kid's hands and let him work his magic.
Yeah, that's it. And we expected ways to hand it off or bring him around in motion, but Coach Harkness is pushing his way of just getting him nice, simple passes and allowing his athletic ability to do the rest. And that time, shaking 3 defenders and a big, glorious dive over the corner pylon for 6.
I'm sure that will be a play that we see pop up on social media a few times this week, Kenny.
One would think. Fenwick here to try and add the extra.
I think we're just delayed here for an injured Ravens player to come off.
And he's made his way to the back there. Who's that? Number, might be Warburton or perhaps Josh Perrin. I'm seeing one of the 20 numbers. It was replaced by Chris Clark. As we set for the PAT now. Fenwick kicked the first one earlier in the second quarter. High snap, but handled nicely. It is up and wide left. That kick hooking there. I think the high snap might have played with his timing on that one. The score remains 44-13.
Now, Kenny, we have that one bring us back under the 35-point mercy rule. So that means we now go back to standard clock time. So meaning that the clock will stop for out of bounds and the likes. So we'll probably see this, drag the second half out a little bit more.
And I've just spotted some former Ravens alum here. I don't know if we're going to be able to quickly get it on camera before kickoff. I believe that is the Cottis brothers there, Philip and Tim Cottis. And not a lot of people would know them in the modern purple age of the Ravens, but it is junior Sun Bowl winning quarterback Philip Cottis. His brother Tim as well, who played many years in those red and green Raven outfits, just to the left there in the Carina Leagues Club, enjoying a couple of orange juices and watching their old team compete against the Rhinos. So good to see some old Ravens coming back and supporting the new breed of bird in Birdtown. Tim Cottis in particular played on some of those teams that were certainly humbled back through the early 2000s of Gridiron Queensland action as Fenwick sends us back downfield. Warwick Russell's had to deal with a few odd-looking kicks here this evening, but he will be returning this back. Has found a bit of open space. Warwick Russell getting low and trying to activate the truck stick. He gets this kick out to the Ravens 30.
If you're Coach Leon and Jared Stegman, probably don't want to see your number one receiver lowering his head on a kick return like that. You'd be like, hey, just take the yards, buddy, and get back on the field for offense.
That they do. First down and 10 here for the Ravens. No Liam Reeves tonight, who I believe was stuck moving house, I believe, this evening, and all the joys that come with that process. So Jared Stegman won't be taking an early shower this evening. He'll stay out for what I believe would be most of the game, unless they've got a emergency quarterback or a QB3 that I've not been told of. And hang on, who's here at running back? This might be 83. This is a brand new player here for the Ravens who'll pass protect as this pass is caught out to the far hand side. That's Mitchell Bessie moonlighting at wide receiver.
It's always good to see a kicker get involved in the game, get a catch.
He's going to have some strong words for us when he re-watches this during the week. But that was getting his first snap as a Raven, I believe, number 83, Tyler Fleming, who has just joined the team this week. Hasn't had a practice snap, and here he is in the game, kitted up for the first time, protecting Jared Stegman. First down and 10. Here he is for his first carry, and you can certainly tell it's his first carry, but he's not going to let anyone else know as he tries to wrestle off some strong defense there from the Rhinos, getting in there. Relton Stewart, who's a young man I want to talk about there, has been an exciting prospect coming up through the Rhinos ranks since their junior Rhino days, back when we had the juniors and Colts. I could not tell he was a junior when he was playing. He is a big young man, and now he's finally breaking into the senior division. I expect, especially as he gets older, if he does not get picked up sooner than that, will be someone who'll be making noise on the defensive side of the ball throughout this league. Second down and 14. Stegman, clean pocket, but now he's under pressure from Railton Stewart, but he evades the pressure, does Stegman, and tries to find Braden Quinn. Coverage in the play there by Nate Ashton-Miles, incomplete.
I think that's something you've identified there, Kenny, is about... Oh, hang on, sorry.
Bit of laundry on the field there. I see for Molly standing over a flag and having a shrug, so I'm not sure if he was involved.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened on the back end of that deck, whether there's potential hands to the face or something like that may have occurred. He was indicating to his huddle there that there was something to do with the helmet. Waiting here for the official. All right, we can't quite hear what the penalty was. It was a personal foul and against the Ravens, so I do believe that was what was being remonstrated there. But you were just mentioning, Kenny, about getting picked up at another level. It's one thing that the Rhinos have done a lot of work over the last few years, starting when Coach Booker was here, was around that pathway that they've set up to get their young talent over to the US and to Europe to play higher level football. And so far, they've had great success with that.
That they have. We can list off many of the names. Jordan Moko, one of the bigger ones of them, recently committing to Texas A&M. Timmy Reynolds, a longtime coach and tackle for the Rhinos. He's playing in Europe now. And we'll go through the rest of that roster following this play here. Fleming sent in motion. He sent on a wheel route, but they'll throw backside to Warwick. No, Mitchell Bessie. How I confuse them is beyond me, as there is a scrum and a ruck and maul to try and get back to the line of scrimmage there. And the Ravens will have third down and double sticks here. But yes, Jordan Moko headlining the line of exports. Timmy Reynolds and a couple of young men here in the low boys, L-O-E-W, L-O-W, both getting over there. One's at Fordham now, and I'm missing one of them.
Yeah, there was another there. Well, we won't be real popular with this. There is one more that's been over there. I just cannot.
Young running back, and I've specifically left him off his list. I was having a chat to him in pre-game. In fact, as we look like we might have come to the end of the third quarter there.
We have indeed. It's the benefit of that running clock situation. It certainly does mean the does run a lot faster.
Well, keep in mind, it's bring out the abacus.
Well, it's back within that 35 now.
It's 31 points the spread, so we are back to regulation timing here for the fourth. A couple of more people rotating in here for the Rhinos. I can see near us to now, Josh Hogan in at quarterback. He'll be doing some work on Mitch Bessie. Third down and long here for Stegman. And he'll look for Bessie, and Bessie, I'm just trying to see where he caught that. He caught that around at the 40. They needed to get to the 40, or the Rhinos 39. And I think I'm
Looks like he's
seeing a
got it.
first down signal. Those long levers are Mitch Bessie moving the chains here on third down.
Well, that Stegman to Bessie connection's one that we've been calling for a long time, Kenny.
Yes, multiple uniforms, multiple situations. Bears, Sun Devils, Australia Outback,
Yep.
now the Ravens. First down and 10. And Stegman taken down for a big sack on the play by Harry Martin. Defensive tackle breaking through.
Great individual pressure there by the Rhinos. Only sent 4, and still able to get home and create now a very, very long second down situation.
The Rhinos not giving up here. Even if they don't get the W tonight, which, just speaking honestly, looks very far out of their reach right about now, they want to send a message to the rest of the league that they are first contender.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of good stuff that's on film this week for them to go away and start building that offense and also the defense moving through the season.
Second and long, double sticks ahead for this offense, and it's a short pass to Corker that is broken up nicely on the play by Jeff Edmondson, the starting a weak side linebacker.
Yeah, and again, Kenny, what we're saying, another great play there, great coverage, more stuff that they can, look at and film this week and go, hey, so this is the really good stuff. This is the benchmark, but hey, here's what we need to work on. Here's what we need to improve as the season goes on.
Here's something we've also haven't brought up there, much like it was with the Mustangs, with plenty of new talent on the team here. For what is one of the not foundation clubs, but the long-standing clubs here in the Brisbane Rhinos, they've actually only got 10 returning players, not all 10 of which returning here tonight, on the roster for them this season. They are very much made up of brand new players.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's very, very difficult when you don't have that retaining talent to build, and particularly early in the season, to have early season success.
Looking deep.
Oh!
And this is intercepted. Churgwin, one of the rotational safeties, making a big play. And he's taken down at the Ravens 40.
You were surprised for a second when he that pass. He was a little bit, oh, wait, I've got the ball.
Well, I still think he's second to Jason Leon as people tonight who have been surprised to have the ball in their hand for 500. But a big play here from, as I said, a Rhinos team that has refused to give up.
No, exactly. And the defense has been threatening all night in terms of their playmaking ability. And although they've been certainly taught some lessons by a very, very experienced Ravens offense, there's a lot to like about what the Ravens defense are putting together.
Yes, it would. First down and 10 now. Look, if you're the Rhinos now, just forget the scoreboard. You're making some big plays. You're making plenty of big plays. Just go out there and just focus one play at a time. Bradford pulls this down, wants to run with it, has had some success, and awkwardly slides down to the ground. And I say awkwardly, but I might now say gingerly, as he looks like he is going to need some medical attention after that last run. And this is why in the NFL they bring in baseball coaches.
Yeah, teach people how to slide. Obviously, late in a game like this, you certainly don't want to see your starting quarterback go down in this manner, and we hope that he is okay. But as we've talked about, Kenny, you're right. Right now, for the Rhinos, it's about, hey, let's raise our level of play here. Let's get on film, okay, and then we start to rebuild moving forward to next week in terms of what we did well and continue that. But hey, what lessons can we take from this? And I think if you coach Harkness after the game, just the final score you may not be happy with if it stays the way it is. But there's been plenty in terms of this new system and offense and also on the defense and such a young team as we've talked about to really start the build from.
Zach Nielsen, who I forgot. He's
Yes.
literally on the field there, is why I forgot his name. One of the third of those young men who found their way to the next level. He's just gone under shoulder surgery, however, so Tulsa, who is the university he committed to, they've allowed him to take the year off. They even initially said if he wanted to play this year in the domestic competition in Gridiron Queensland, they'd be okay with that as well, but he opted to take the surgery, and he'll be starting next fall. Well, not starting, he'll begin that college journey next fall over in the University of Tulsa.
Would that have jeopardise a year of eligibility here, or is that because of the COVID rules around eligibility he could
I
have...
could only imagine that was the case.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised, though. If you go to recruit, particularly
Yeah.
overseas there, you're usually wrapping them up in cotton wool and
You
then
don't want them
just trying to
playing.
get them over healthy. So, in any case, I think he's made the mature decision to sort out his shoulder injury and get the surgery and prepare for college life, where I believe outside linebacker is the current predicted spot.
Yeah, okay.
He'll be contributing on that defense. Probably will see a red shirt in his time. I can only imagine. A red shirt year ahead of him, I should say.
I'm just trying to see who's taking over at quarterback here. Kenny?
And it is okay. Well, they really didn't think this was going to happen. I really badgered Sam Harkness for who his emergency quarterback is, because usual backup quarterback Riley Dix is not here tonight. So it's Calder Shanks taking the snaps here.
Wow.
A former junior quarterback will hand this ball off to friends. And we had a team full of technically second and third stringers there, if you want to call those running backs that, with an emergency quarterback in Shanks, and then the two second string and third string backs in Franz and Wood, with Camargo going down in the first quarter and not returning.
Yeah, interesting situation here for the Rhinos. I'm interested to see what their play calling goes from here, whether or not they stick with that run and shoot, or whether they're going to bring it back to more of an option style.
Well, Coach Sam Harkness said that he's got a different offensive plan if they go down to a third quarterback. So here comes that different offense. Dropping back to pass with not a whole lot of space. Jump passing away is Calder Shanks. But to nothing but the green grass of the Ravens' 40-yard line. Incomplete, fourth down now. We'll see if Shanks stays on the field. Here's the other thing. I believe Shanks was also the Spartans' punter in his junior days. So if he doesn't leave the field, we're not even 100% certain that's the case, but he will stay on the field. But coming onto the field is Fenwick, their kicker punter. So I think that answers that speculation.
We saw Fenwick in a very, very similar field position earlier with a fantastic push kick. Three for replicate this play. We see Clark and Russell back for their return for the Ravens. And we have a timeout here to the Rhinos. Chatter.
Well, timeout. I'll take the opportunity to once again thank the sponsors for these two teams here. First, for the home side, the Bayside Ravens. Fresh on fruit, side feast on fruit, they say, as well as Anytime Fitness, making healthy happen. Meatery and Gun supplying the meat raffle for the Ravens to raffle off here in their home games through the opening 3 weeks. And for the Rhinos, Resistance Sports Science, based in Enoggera, helping with you all with your PT and recovery needs. iSponsor, providing ways to financially back your clubs around Brisbane. OzMV, Australian manufactured vehicles, the place to go for American pickup trucks. Those sponsors are making everything happen for these two clubs in front of you, including this stream, as well as the stream down the track between the Ravens and Rhinos later in the year, as we'll see part 2 of this epic series between teams 1 and 2 as the ladder currently stands. Fenwick sends this punt up high on fourth down. I still haven't seen it come down. Has it got ice on it? It takes a 90-degree turn, and that will be downed around the Ravens 12. A solid sky kick right there.
Yeah, a lot of hang time on that. Probably would have liked a few more yards on it, but at the same time, did keep it away from those two very dangerous return men. So you'd probably take that in terms of the ball being inside the 15.
Look, I was about to say, there's not really too many times you're going to be upset with a punt that backs up the offense, the opposing offense onto their own 15. But that's 2 inside 20s now for Fenwick on his punting duties tonight. Your score here in the fourth quarter, Ravens 44, Brisbane Rhinos 13. Touchdowns to the Rhinos to Shanks and Williams. A double for the Ravens through Warwick Russell as Ferrara's back on the field, back from cramp. And what a big run for him on first down. Laundry on the play, back where Jared Stegman is standing. I saw the Rhinos lineman, Harry Martin, walking away from that flag as well. And they're calling a hold there on Carlos Sinapati. So that'll bring back that impressive run there from Chris Ferrar.
Didn't seem like there was too many arguments there, either from Sinapati or Stegman or the rest of the Ravens offense. I think they knew that was probably there.
So here's drawing some connections here. So Volkanovski for the Rhinos was playing in the BRL A grade reserve grade grand final 2 weeks ago with Carlos Sinapati's cousin, Sebastian Sinapati, also playing on that team, playing his 100th game in the BRL reserve grade. So congratulations to both those gentlemen. They unfortunately came away with a loss to Valleys, I believe it was. So I think Volkanovski and both Sinapati both looking for Sun Bowls here in the Gridiron Queensland competition. That's yet another throw and catch to Warwick Russell. A few more guys rotating through here for the Brisbane Rhinos. I see now on the field Jeremy Cowles. He's working on Troy Posey. Both of those guys went deep.
That's a tough assignment,
Yes,
covering
it is.
Posey deep.
He's only a couple of drop catches away from having a triple-digit day through the second down and 10. That being said, you could argue I'm a couple catches away from being a triple-digit day through the air. Quick pass here to Braden Quinn. Braden Quinn proving to be very capable on the underneath routes there. Flag thrown though from the far sideline towards the middle of that play.
Looks like there's a bit of extracurricular at the back end of that play. Although the Ravens seem to be walking backwards, so maybe not. Maybe it is a holding penalty. We'll wait for a decision here.
And once again, thank you for joining us on tonight's joint stream here on Gridiron Queensland Week 3. Ravens hosting the Rhinos, wherever you be watching us from, whether you're down the road, in the Leagues Club, watching from interstate or overseas. We appreciate your company, especially despite some of the technical errors we've encountered this evening. We appreciate your patience, and we certainly hope you join us in broadcast to come. We'll be calling from the Rhinos home field next week. I think it is Rhinos Stingrays, I believe.
Yes, at Mitchelton.
At West Mitchie, the newly named Don Duncan Oval and West Mitchelton Rugby League Football Club.
Okay, offsetting penalties here. Looks like there's two different penalties.
Yep. Double deuce calls there, so moot point eventually.
So offsetting penalties for those watching at home, and I believe they replayed the down as well.
I wouldn't mind offsetting penalties in other sports. How many times do just retaliate? I mean, even in the sport of gridiron, it's only the retaliator that gets caught. I wouldn't mind a situation where both teams can be punished, and we said, you're bad, counteracts are bad, so let's just play football, or insert respective sport here. Second down and 10 here, fourth quarter. Ravens with a healthy lead over the Rhinos. Team 1 versus Team 2 here in the men's standing Gridiron Queensland competition. Kenny Andres, Adam Bolton calling the action for you here out of the Carina Leagues Club. Ooh. Passes routes all across the league. Warwick Russell has gotten behind Cheyenne James, and James eventually takes him down at the Rhinos 32. And isn't it almost, I don't want this to sound offensive, but it almost sounds comical seeing Warwick Russell in his diminutive fashion just running away from all these defenders. First week it was Jamal Sinapati, who has a good almost foot over him there. Cheyenne James in a similar sort of situation. A couple of those Mustang defenders last week. Same thing with Warwick Russell. But all that does is he makes plays no matter who you line up in front of him.
Well, that's the dangerous thing with, I suppose, with this sport in general, Kenny, is, size, certainly skill position doesn't necessarily matter. You got speed and football IQ. That's a dangerous combination.
Does anyone know what 40 he runs? I'd love to know, and his three-cone drill as well. First down and 10. Here goes Farrar on a bit of a trap play, and he's found plenty of space. Eventually taken down by the combination of Nathan Ashton Miles as well as Tyson Snag. Second year starting here for the third year starting, I believe, for the Brisbane Rhinos.
Point that you made there, Kenny, about Russell's 40 time, not exactly sure what it would be. I suggest it is probably a hair quicker than yours and mine is.
Just a hair.
Just a hair, yeah. Well, photo finish, I reckon.
We'd be in it.
We'd be in it.
You'd chuck us in the back end of a trifecta of 3 people racing. First down and 10 from the Rhinos 20. They're going for the end zone. Posey wants one. Posey gets
touchdown.
one.
He's been threatening all night and finally gets one.
He let one slip through his hands in the second quarter. That time he watched that ball all the way.
That helps in terms of building that relationship with Stegman, is those sorts of connections. Obviously, as you said, Kenny, had one earlier slip through your hands, which is always a bit frustrating for the quarterback, but then when you have one like that, certainly helps make up for it.
That's the 50 burger. That's 3 straight weeks. The Ravens has clipped 50 points. Not all through the offense. There's been some field goals, and there's been some defensive and special teams touchdowns in there as well. It's all 3 phases of the game here for Bertan, contributing to this very healthy 4 section in the ladder here in the GQ men's standings.
Ooh.
And it's the Englishman Quimby adding the extra.
Just being a bit of a special teams nerd, that was an excellent quick kick there by Quimby. The long snap was a little bit off. Bessie did a good job of recovering it and getting it down, but did delay the kick a little bit, but still got it through. Yeah, you're right, Kenny, in terms of all 3 facets of the game. In the first 3 weeks, have looked very, very good for the Ravens. As you've mentioned, it's tough to see. I mean, it's only early in the season, but how do you address that if you are any of the other teams in the league, if you're a Stingrays, if you're the Rhinos and stuff like that? Okay, they put up 53 3 weeks in a row from all 3 facets of the game. It's not just the offense you've got to try and take care of. How do you do those other things?
Well, right now, their scalp list includes the Brisbane Rhinos, the USQ Mustangs, and the Gold Coast Stingrays. They're yet to play the combined Raptors Spartans team and the Logan City Bears. So right now, the future is looking bright for the Ravens, but I think you're right in saying, can they hold this pace for a full season and playoff series?
Whoa.
Chiam James breaking tackles.
Whoa.
Chiam James to halfway.
And he was a heel away from breaking that.
But there are flags down far side of the field around the Rhinos 34. Jeez, he walked the tightrope there, didn't he?
Bounced off some tackles. Yeah, walked the tightrope. Heel clipped the sideline there. He was gone. Again, it just shows what we've talked about all night, how dangerous this return team is with Shanks and James.
I just want to give another shout out here, as I've noticed again on the chains there. Phil Taylor and his son Jackson. Phil Taylor, of course, the first head coach of the Bayside Ravens back in the year when they formed in the year 2000.
I did not know that.
To this day, I'm still helping out the Ravens where I can, and he was one of the first people I saw shed a tear when the Ravens finally broke through a few years ago now. This club truly still means a lot to him. Calder Shanks with the option, the quarterback option out there, and Capewell now dragging his foot across there. I don't think it was intentional, but it didn't look great.
No, and I think if you're going to run that option system and you've got Capewell on the backside, you probably need to be a little bit more aware that if you're going to turn it inside like that, you better get moving, because he's coming to find you.
And I think we have another injury time out here. We've got a Rhino down here. I couldn't see them because it's behind the Ravens huddle. It's
might be on that. I thought it might be number 60, Joshy Koo, but it's not.
It's number 48, I think. It's one of their starting edges in Jackson Collins. He's another versatile player, another sort of new player to this team. As I said, 90% of this team is new. He starts at edge, but can fill in at middle linebacker if need be as well. A lot of these new guys asked to learn and learn very quickly.
When you've got such a young team, I guess, you've had, so many experienced players leave, you get those opportunities, and a coach like Coach Harkness is going to give you those opportunities. If you want to learn, he's going to give you the opportunity to do so.
No, it wasn't the 48, it was the 58, in fact. I saw the 8. It is Frankie Tinalau, who is the starting left tackle for them. So, down a quarterback and down a left tackle. It's Jack Capewell amongst Shelvin Takave Chand. and Matthew Bailey making a stop on that last play. Filling in at left tackle now, James Cowlishaw, I think, in jersey 51.
Yeah, it was very, very solid hit there with the by the Ravens defense, swarming to the ball there. That was a thankless job for the running back.
Yes, it was. And yeah, James Cowlishaw, usually wearing number 90, which is now being worn by Malachi Relton Stewart. He did make the jersey change, large in part because he called up the line. That has now come to fruition.
Throw me out in pre-game warm-ups, Cowlishaw in the 51, and the number 90 being redistributed.
A couple more offensive linemen coming through. Calder Shanks looked downfield, tucked it, brought it back, and flags on the play, but he wanted to go deep. Couldn't find his target. More penalty markers as this game gets a little messy towards the back end.
Did see on the backside of that play there, Jack Capswell was triple teamed there, which you don't see that too often in terms of with a wide receiver, the left tackle, and the running back.
Yeah, there's the three wide receivers. It's obviously spoken a lot about Max Williams and a couple of other guys. I'm just trying to take note there. Between Taylor Fenwick and, of course, Max Williams, who we've been talking about all night, those two guys have been connecting with Coach Harkness since January, even before preseason, to try and understand this run-and-shoot offense. He's been really impressed with their commitment to the game, and that's why they've all well and truly earned starting positions in this offense.
Yeah, speaking to Coach Harkness before the game, mentioned that as well, Bradford been doing a lot of work in terms of not just in terms of playing football, but in terms of film, reads, all the mental side of the game to help him prepare as best he can for this season.
So after that last third and long, it's fourth down. They're going to send Fenwick back out to punt. He's been impressive so far with the boot. Leans a fair bit back in that last punt, though. And he gets another friendly bounce. And this will be wonderful work from the special teams unit. Downing that ball is Jared Toshak, and dare I say it, what a wonderful job from this Rhinos special teams, who's been one of the brighter lights for this Rhinos outfit tonight.
Absolutely has been a day for the brand for them. They've done, particularly on the punt game, I mean, they had the block earlier, which wasn't ideal, but since then, I mean, we've had an out at the 3, a down at the 14, and now a down at the 6-inch line, maybe. That's a phenomenal, not just a great punt, but also great coverage and awareness there by the Rhinos.
So a chance for this Rhinos defense to aim up here, force a safety, force a mistake.
I mean, obviously you've got a various offense here with the Ravens. I mean, they've seen this before, but for the Rhino special teams, there's a lot of teams in this competition. You can pin them down in this sort of area. It's going to create some big problems for other opposing offenses.
Farrar, the man who will likely be told to help him out. No, they'll go to the passing game. Mitch Bessie. Not a bad target either. He'll be taken down out there on the left-hand side of the field by Jeremy Coles.
If you're going to throw the ball out of that situation, I suppose no safer target than experienced Mitchell Bessie.
The 6'4" frame of Mitch Bessie.
Good size for a kicker.
Wonderful work, Mitch Bessie. Of course, we joke. The only reason he's missing practice there is he's been a dedicated partner and father to his lovely 3 kids back at home, as the real superhero of that family, Kestra Bessie, I should say now.
Yes.
Asmono is, doing a lot of her university work. Second down now here for the Ravens. No Reeves tonight here, so Stegman will see this game out. Farrar will get very low. No, it isn't. It's the young fella Fleming. The new Raven on the blocks, rolling and spinning out of a tackle there. And also moving the chains.
For a guy who's just signed up and hasn't had a lot of practice, or any practice really, impressive burst there. A little bit of work on his ball carrier vision. I think we're going to be calling his name out a lot more.
I'm still surprised no one else has stuck their hand up. Back when I played, and even just around teams and coaches, if there was a spot available at running back, you had about a half dozen linemen throwing their hand up, saying they're good for it.
I was about to say, when I was at Stingrays, anytime someone was within this at running back, the number of offensive linemen who thought they could run the ball.
Here they go. Underneath, I don't know if this was complete. I'd be calling that incomplete, and
I think
the officials agree.
I think Mr. Turf had a hand in that one.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's funny how there's never a shortage of offensive linemen or defensive linemen who think they can run the ball.
Well, in a rare situation, and you don't see this often, the Ravens have a surplus in offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And a thinness at running back.
Well, the centre, Matthew Ole, back in his leaner, better haircut days,
Played safety.
did actually play safety and some running back.
Oh, a mixed up handoff and a chance for the Rhinos to recover.
No.
The Rhinos get on it, and the Rhinos advance it for a touchdown of their own.
Collishaw.
James Collishaw.
It has been a day for the experienced, we'll call them, veteran DNs.
Didn't think he was going to contribute much tonight, and here he is with a key block. And a return touchdown. Two grizzled D-line vets of this league getting on the scoreboard this evening. Collishaw now, and earlier in the game, Jason Leon.
I reckon if you ask Sportsbet pre-game, what for Collishaw anytime touchdown score a double, you could have named your price.
I think you could have. Let's do it now.
That is incredible.
Right, 51 points to the Ravens, but Rhinos fighting to the end, 19 on that play. That's Stegman's second fumble today, actually, both recovered by the Rhinos. I think this is James coming in last minute, and they were down a blocker. They did miss one PAT last attempt. Fenwick, who otherwise has been a powerhouse with that right boot. Their laces were back on that play.
Oh.
Turns out when you punt it hard enough, it doesn't matter. But we just both saw the laces lined up at the back there and prepared for that kick to go.
High snap, laces
Everywhere.
back. Caswell dangerously close to blocking that. But hey, points on the board. I'm not sure. I could be wrong here, but maybe Collishaw was meant to be in on that play and probably got a bit.
There you go. I've scored a touchdown. Someone else go and block.
I need a breather.
Need to look down at my list again and remind myself who number 51 was. As I said, used to seeing number 90 next to Callishaw's name. And it must be towards the back end of the game. We're seeing a lot of the Raven staff to the right. Both of us start to pack up. So
I think that now brings the score into under 35 again. So I believe that goes back to regular clock rules, doesn't it?
I trust your maths over mine.
Hang on, now you got me questioning it. Yeah, no, 51-20.
Look at
31, mate.
If you could see the look that just both came across our faces, it was both shock, horror, and panic. 31 points. So yes, we will see the time. We're back to regulation. That would have been one of the longer onside kick attempts if Max Williams managed to get onto that. But
I kind of like what they're trying to do there. I think the idea is right. Just needed a little bit less on that kick.
And this will be a kickoff out of bounds here, so the Ravens will have the option to start on their own 30 if they wish. They can also move the kicking spot back and take a re-kick if they wish, which sometimes teams with dangerous returners will do.
So put this to you, Kenny. We've seen, obviously seen the Ravens for the last 3 weeks. We've seen the Stingrays in week 1, and now we've seen the Rhinos. What are we looking for next week?
Well, we really want to see how the rebuild of the Gold Coast Stingrays is continuing. They'll have an extra week off to prepare. As I said, in week 1, we saw a lot of household names in the junior and Colts divisions I've seen dominate their respective divisions, come up to the senior division and well and truly get welcomed, we'll say. But when you have talent like that, all it takes is time. As Farrar will take the tackle there of Nate Ashton Miles. And that'll be a second and short here for the Ravens. And of course, other teams, I only got my first glimpse of the Spartan Raptors team today, who were without their starting quarterback.
Yep.
For a couple of disciplinary reasons, and Aaron Verbakel took over and he won back the clock for his times starting at quarterback there, and he led his team to a big victory over the Mustangs. Of course, seeing the Mustangs game will be improved, will be very interesting as well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the game here. Week 3 wrapped up in the Gridiron Queensland competition, and the defending champs, the Bayside Ravens, continue their undefeated start to the season by a score of 51 points to 20 over the Brisbane Rhinos, who fall to 2-1. a fantastic game here for the Ravens there, but plenty of light and hope here for this young Brisbane Rhinos outfit.
Yes, Kenny, I was very impressed with a lot that we saw from the Rhinos this game. I think there's a lot to build on there, and I'll be really keen to see next week when we have the Rhinos and the Stingrays, two very young teams with a lot of former junior talent, see what they bring to the field.
Well, the Ravens also showed a willingness of an impressive amount of depth for people who had no snaps there, with a couple of those new guys getting some touches of the football there. The Rhinos showed how deep they run on both sides of the ball there, and there'll be plenty of stuff to move forward. The playoffs are still far away. 2 months is a long time in this sport, so we'll see how things develop over the season. Next week, we'll be heading over to Mitchelton to watch the Rhinos at their first home game of the season. And we'll see who else in this senior division can emerge as contenders. But right now, it's fair to say the Bayside Ravens are hard and fast the favourites to have a three-peat here in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely, Kenny. Very long season. I think we're going to see a lot more improvement from the Rhinos and the Stingrays. But yeah, right now you would certainly say the Ravens rightfully deserve to be the red-hot favourites for season 2021.
Well, as the Ravens winning song, Take Me Home, Country Roads, plays us out. Once again, thank you all for your patience and company here in this Week 3 broadcast brought to you by LSB Australia. We appreciate your company and we hope you'll join us in the weeks to come. Have a good night and thank you for watching.